Have you ever had a day where you're in a great mood for whatever reason, and it feels like great things keep happening? Are you ready to live your best life, make healthy choices, have success, have fun, and still have time for everything else? I'm here to teach you how to do that, and we'll all learn together from guests along the way as well. Follow along for some powerful tips on cultivating gratitude, making healthy choices for mind and body, and having fun doing it. What if all the angst and worry actually don't help? Oh my goodness, let's keep learning how to do this differently. OMG, here we are, episode 1. I am so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you for listening. Let's talk about where this podcast came from and my favorite quote about energy. So here we are, OMG Teach Me. Where in the world did that name come from? It's funny because when I was a kid, I used to play school and teacher all the time. And at the same time, as I started to get older, I said, I will never be a teacher. I will never be a teacher. I wanted to do something with math, which I loved. I was always a good student. I threw in economics and international business because I didn't want to be a math teacher. I wanted something that would get me into the business world, and I did that for a while. And then I had a family, and I realized that one of the pieces of my job at the time that was my favorite was training my team. I love to break down concepts. I love to try to explain pieces of an idea in a way that is understandable to other people. And as I had a family, I realized that maybe this teaching thing would be something that made sense for me. So, went on to teaching. I taught for 12 years, math and economics. Maybe we'll circle back to that someday, but please believe that you can always make a change in your life if you want it. Now, I don't do that anymore. I did hit, I would call it burnout. And at the same time as I was trying to figure out what was coming next, I started my network marketing business that I still do to this day. And that's where I learned how to actually be my own boss and go for bigger goals. And quite frankly, how to fall down, how to pick myself up, how to fall down, how to pick myself up, fall down. You see the pattern. These were things I never learned working in a corporate environment or working in a school environment. Now, I do work in a corporate environment now, still doing something that I love. And I've also been able to take all these lessons and apply them to my family life, my professional life, my overall attitude. And I so want to teach you what I've learned. Now, along the way, in all these ups and downs, there were the teachers for me, the mentors, uplifting me, showing me a whole new world in personal development, mindset, healthy living that I really did not know existed. I call myself often a recovering naysayer, and I really did naysay a lot of this stuff early on. So here's a flip that happened. I found a quote from Albert Einstein. Let me read you this quote. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Albert Einstein. Now, until this point, I really thought mindset and the power of thought and, quite frankly, most personal development topics, they were all just stuff. People read them when they were sad or they need something to learn about because they were bored. That's what I thought. But Einstein believed it, studied it. Quite honestly, who am I? Who are we not to pay attention? Now, also around this time, into my life came an amazing coach named Karen Mullins. And away I went on a journey of learning how to think differently and live differently. So, what's this quote talking about? What's this energy thing? From a science perspective, we're talking about quantum physics. This is a real field of study. That analytical recovering naysayer in me needed to know that, I must tell you. I'm not a scientist. It's not my field of study. So let's look at the mindset perspective. What he's talking about is that thoughts and feelings are energy. That energy is a vibration down to the cellular level, but let's keep it focused on thoughts and feelings. People can feel the mood you're in. You felt it, I'm sure, from other people before. And we, depending on our mood on any given day, at any given time, we change our actions. We do things differently if we're in a good mood or we're in a bad mood. Even if you get the same task done, you're going to do it differently. Maybe think of it this way. Whatever thoughts are running around in your head are creating a feeling, a mood, and that is pushing out into the world a vibration that causes you to act in a certain way, but also that affects how people respond to us. We might attract similar energy, we might repel different energy. All of this is fascinating science. So let's see, maybe you felt this too. You're in a bad mood. What's the saying? You woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Things seem to go wrong and then go wrong and go wrong. We have also a saying, bad things come in threes. We're kind of waiting for the next shoe to drop. I'm coming up with so many little sayings here. So clearly, we do have some understanding down maybe in our subconscious that if we're expecting more negative things to happen, we might be attracting more negative things. Now, please understand, I'm not saying that you've attracted every bad thing that's ever happened to you. Bad things happen sometimes. What I'm saying is when we get into that mood, dejected, defeated, sad, disempowered, pessimistic, whatever word or mood you're thinking of, oftentimes we're putting out a vibration into the world that is going to attract a similar mood from other people as well. And we're going to change the way we take action, which again has different responses out in the world. Now, let's flip it around. Okay, that was kind of negative. Let's flip it around. You might be in a great mood. You might have just woken up in a great mood that day. Or for some reason, you don't even know why, you're just feeling good. Maybe the sun is out. Oh, the sun is a big mood enhancer for me. When the sun is out, my mood is better. Have you ever had a day where you're in a great mood for whatever reason, and it feels like great things keep happening? Suddenly, you got the parking space that you were hoping for because you're in a rush. And then you got great customer service when you were doing whatever errand you were doing. And then you checked your mail and something fantastic came in the mail. Sometimes it just feels like, wow, great things keep happening. So, this is the flip side of the bad mood. You are most likely thinking about good things happening. Your feelings are positive, and that is changing the vibration, the frequency that you are putting out into the world. It changes how you are acting, and it changes how people are reacting to you. It potentially attracts people who are in a similar vibration. We can say it another way. If you're in a great mood, who do you want to hang out with? Do you want to hang out with the people who are kind of moping around a bit like Eeyore that day? Or are you going to feel yourself pulled to the people who are also in a great mood? The smile, the laughter. You're going to feel yourself pulled to people who are in a similar vibration as you are. That is so powerful that it's almost a little bit scary. We live in an online social media world. For me, it's having a landing page for this podcast, having a cool link in bio for my business Instagram, and having a resources website for my social selling team. Just having a place to put information, links, recommendations, and even celebration. I was thrilled when I found Boss Lady Bio. You can create a website that looks gorgeous and you don't have to know how to code. Have a look at what they offer at omgteachme.onamission.bio. You can even try it for free. You might be thinking to yourself, well, gosh, sometimes I'm in a bad mood. Something bad has happened, and my feelings are valid about that. So don't tell me to just flip them around. And let me reassure you, I'm not telling you to ignore your feelings about something bad that has happened. I will not ever tell you that. And we will have another episode about feeling your feelings and letting them flow through you and letting them go. Tapping, also called EFT, is a great resource for that. You do want to recognize what you feel. What I'm saying is sometimes it's not so negative that you can't find a way to switch, to find something a little bit positive, to raise your vibration a little bit. And that puts a whole different frequency out into the world. Isn't it fascinating how this is actually a type of physics that is being studied? I'm just kind of nerding out about it every time I read this quote. It is so cool. So let me pull myself back together here. Here's the part that I would say is the cool part. We have control over the thoughts running around in our heads. Some days it's going to be easier than other days to shift those thoughts to something more empowered or more positive or more optimistic. But we always do have control over the thoughts we're thinking. And these are thoughts that are kind of running on a loop in your brain. And maybe one step, if all of this is feeling new to you, is to just be a little curious. What is the loop of stuff running in my brain all the time? Because I promise you, there is a loop of thoughts running in your brain almost all the time. And learning how to recognize that is powerful stuff. So, if we take this quote where he says, match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. To me, that's so empowering. Maybe it's not easy. I'm not going to claim this is easy. It's going to take time. It's going to take practice. I think probably all good things do. But isn't it so empowering that if we can figure out how to match the frequency of what we want, we can have it? Maybe I'll say it another way. Imagine right now how you want your life to be. Imagine the type of person you want to be. Imagine the interactions with others that you want to have. Imagine the job you want to have or the business you want to have. Imagine that it is here now. It's happening now. You have all of that now. Feel it. Enjoy it. Now, this takes practice. You will not be perfect at this right away unless you are one of the lucky few. So just practice. because matching the frequency of the reality you want means doing exactly this, picturing what you want as if it's happening now and feeling and seeing all the good stuff related to that. And here's the cool bonus. If you can start practicing that regularly, even once a day at the beginning, giving yourself a few minutes to daydream about your vision and see it happening now and add detail. When we do this regularly, we gradually become the exact type of person who achieves what we're dreaming of. This is one tool in your toolkit to become that person. It's freaky and it's fabulous because anyone can do this. Now, let me give you a caveat here. I am not perfect. You will not be perfect at this. I fall off the wagon sometimes related to directing my thoughts to what I want and who I want to be. And I catch a loop in my head of negative stuff. And that always will be the case. It's going to happen. What I've learned is that we can switch it. We can get back on the horse, so to speak, and start again. And every time we switch that from the negative stuff and realize we can think differently, we're getting better at it. We're growing ourselves. We're getting better at understanding our thoughts and our feelings. And ideally, we're growing happier and happier as well. Think of yourself like a plane, an airplane that is headed somewhere, and all along the way is making small shifts to stay on course. Vectors, if you're a math nerd like me, every small shift matters. Because if we don't make them regularly, little by little by little by little, we are going to end up in a completely different destination than where we wanted to go. So, what is it that I'm recommending you do? We are going to come back to a lot of these concepts more in other episodes, but I want to give you something to take away now. We said thoughts create feelings, which are your vibration, your frequency. So start practicing recognizing how you're feeling. Pause during the day, morning, evening, day, whatever. Check your mood. Maybe sometimes you can even feel physical symptoms in your body, tightness in your chest or in your neck or soreness. See if you can determine, how am I feeling right now? There was a phase of my life where if you had asked me, how are you feeling now? Or how are you feeling about that? I would not have been able to answer you. I was totally closed off to recognizing how I was feeling. And let me tell you, that is not healthy. So it took me some learning to get here. If you can recognize what you're feeling, how you're feeling, allow it. Ask yourself in a curious way. And by curious way, I mean, it is never the right thing to beat ourselves up. Never. And we tend to do it. Ask yourself in a curious way, what is running through my head that might be causing these feelings? Is it true? Those thoughts running through my head? Are they valid? Is it worth my time to allow that loop of thoughts to run through my head? Am I worrying about something that may never happen? Can I switch those thoughts to something else? Now, a lot of times this is where gratitude comes in. So gratitude episodes are coming your way soon. We talk to ourselves all the time. And those words, those thoughts, create that vibration of feeling. And this is how we come across to the world. So let's start with knowing, with recognizing that vibration, those feelings, being curious about it, asking ourselves, can we flip that to something more empowering and let a different loop run in our head? Start there and we'll keep on growing. I sure hope you enjoyed today's episode. OMG, I would be so honored if you would take a moment, leave a rating, and leave a review. Let's get this message out further into the world. Make sure you've subscribed as well, and why not grab a screenshot and share it on your social media. Now it's time to head down to the show notes and see the resources I mentioned. Go find what you love.